Okay, fine.
My name is Kenzel Henderson, and I'm reading a story titled Mom, What If There Were No Black People in the World? This is a story of a young man who woke up one morning and asked his mother, Mom, what if there were no black people in the world? Well, his mother thought about that for a moment and then said, Son, follow me around today and let's just see what it would be like if there were no black people in the world. Now go get dressed and we will get started. He ran to his room to put on his clothes and shoes. His mother took one look at him and said, Son, where are your shoes? And those clothes are all wrinkled, son. I must iron them. But when she reached for the ironing board, it was no longer there. You see, Sarah Boone, a black woman, invented the ironing board, and Jan E. Matzelinger, a black man, invented the shoelacing machine. Oh, well, she said, please go do something to your hair. He ran to his room to comb his hair. The comb was not there. You see, Simmons, a black man, invented the comb. He decided to just brush his hair, but the brush was a but the brush was gone. You see, Lydia O. Newman, a black female, invented the brush. Well, this was a sight. No shoes, wrinkled clothes, hair a mess, even mom's hair. Without the hair inventions of Madam C.J. Walker, a black woman, well, you get the picture. Mom told her son, let's do our chores around the house and then take a trip to the grocery store. His job was to sweep the floor. He swept and swept and swept. When he reached for the dustpan, it was not there. You see, Lloyd P. Ray, a black man, invented the dustpan, so he swept his pile of dirt over in the corner and left it there. He then decided to mop the floor, but the mop was gone. You see, Thomas W. Stewart, a black man, invented the mop. He yelled to his mom, Mom, I'm not having any luck. Well, son, she said, let me finish washing these clothes and we will prepare a list for the grocery store. When the wash finished, she went to placed the clothes in the dryer, but it was not there. You see, George T. Simmons, a black man, invented the clothes dryer. Mom asked her son to go and get a pencil and some paper and pencil, but noticed the pencil lead was broken. Well, she was out of luck because John Love, a black man, invented the pencil sharpener. Mom reached for a pen, but it was not there. William Purvis, a black man, invented the fountain pen. As a matter of fact, Lee Burridge, a black man, invented the typewriting machine, and W. A. Leavitt, a black man, invented the advanced printing press. He and his mother decided to head out to the market. Well, when he opened the door, he noticed the grass was as high as he was tall. You see, John Burr, a black man, invented the lawnmower. They made their way over to the car and found that it just wouldn't go. You see, Richard Spikes, a black man, invented the automatic gear shift, and Joseph Gamble, a black man, invented the supercharged system for the internal com- combustion engines. They noticed that the few cars that were moving were running into each other and having wrecks because there were no traffic signals. You see, Garrett A. Morgan, a black man, invented the traffic light. Well, it was getting late, so they walked to the market, got their groceries, and returned home. Just when they were about to put away the milk, eggs, and butter, they noticed the refrigerator was gone. You see, John Stander, a black man, invented the refrigerator. So they just left the food on the counter, but this time he noticed he was getting mighty cold. Mom went to turn up the heat, and what do you know? Alice Parker, a black female, invented the heating furnace. Even in the summertime, they would have been out of luck because Frederick Jones, a black man, invented the air conditioner. It was almost time for his father to arrive home. He usually takes the bus, but there was no bus because its precursor was the electric trolley, which was invented by another black man, Albert R. Robinson. He usually takes the elevator from his office on the 20th floor, but there was no elevator because Alexander Miles, a black man, invented the elevator. He usually dropped off the office mail at a nearby mailbox, but was not it was not longer there because Philip Downing, a black man, invented the letter drop mailbox, and William Berry invented the postmarking head in their hands. When the father arrived, he asked, "Why are you sitting in the dark?" Why is it? Why it is because Lewis Howard Lat- Latminer, a black man, invented the filament within the light bulb. He quickly learned what it would be like if there were no black people in the world. Also, if he were ever sick and needed blood, Charles Drew, a black scientist, found a way to preserve and store blood, which led to his starting the world's first blood bank. What if a family member had to have heart surgery? This would not have been possible without Doctor Daniel Hale Williams, a black doctor who performed the first open heart surgery. So if you ever wonder, like this young man, where we would be without US, well, it's pretty plain to see we would still be in the dark.
Good morning, church. Can we have George Washington Carver up? There you go.
I am George Washington Carver.
George Washington Carver was a hardworking scientist and teacher who revolutionized agriculture with his research on crop rotation. He discovered over 300 products made from peanuts, including medicine, paper, and cosmetics. His innovation helped farmers improve soil health and grow sustainable crops. Throughout his life, he received numerous awards for his contributions to science and agriculture. Thank you. Can we get Harriet Tubman?
I'm Harry Tubman.
Harriet Tubman was a confident and caring leader who helped enslaved people escape to freedom. You want to hold it up? Yep, hold it right there. I'm sorry. Enslaved people escaped to freedom throughout the Underground Railroad. After escaping to the north herself, she risked her life many times to guide others to safety. Her bravery and determination made her a key figure in the fight against slavery. She dedicated her life to freedom and justice, becoming an inspiration to many. Can we have Martin Luther King Jr. come up?
I'm Mark.
Martin Luther King Jr. was a preacher and civil rights leader who fought against segregation in the United States. He advocated for peace and nonviolent protests to achieve racial equality. His powerful speeches and leadership played a key role in the civil rights movement. Tragically, he was shot and assassinated in 1968 while continuing his fight for justice. Black history is a vital part of understanding the struggles, achievements, and contributions of Black individuals throughout time. Learning about this history fosters awareness, appreciation, and respect for the resilience and impact of Black communities. Knowledge of the past helps prevent the repetition of injustices and inspires future generations to continue the fight for equality. Understanding Black history is essential for building a more just and inclusive society.
Thank you.
Doris Miller was born on October 12, 1919, in Waco, Texas. Miller labored on his family's farm and participated in high school football before enlisting in the U.S. Navy in 1939. He accepted a role as a ship's mess attendant. He ascended consistently in rank to the position of third-class ship's cook and was assigned to Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. Miller's duties did not include combat duty, yet his inherent courage and heroism were evident during the Japanese assault on Pearl Harbor. On December 7, 1941, Japan executed a surprise aerial assault on the United States naval installation at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. Miller was situated below deck on the USS West Virginia. As commotion ensued, Miller promptly ascended to the upper deck to aid injured sailors, including the ship's captain. Despite little anti-aircraft training for Black sailors, he approached one of the machine guns and fired at the Japanese aircraft above. Miller was one of the last three sailors to leave the ship as it sank after the ammo ran out. His selflessness inspired fellow sailors and highlighted the American war response's resilience. Miller was the first African American to receive the Navy Cross in May 1942. His fellow sailors and the U.S. Navy utilized his image in a recruitment campaign to honor him. Miller helped break down military racial barriers, challenge the status quo, and prepare future African American servicemen. His legacy inspired optimism and courage, symbolizing African Americans' essential role in the military during World War II. Doris Miller served in the Navy as a mess attendant until November 24, 1943, when his ship, USS Liscome Bay, was struck by a torpedo during the Gilbert Islands campaign. Miller was presumed dead. In 1973, the U.S. Navy honored him by naming a ship the USS Miller, ensuring his contributions will never be forgotten. In 2020, the U.S. Navy declared its plan to name the forthcoming Ford-class aircraft carrier after Doris Miller, the USS Doris Miller. The inaugural vessel, named after the enlisted sailor, is anticipated to be delivered to the Navy in 2032.
All right.
Good morning. I am Dorothy Height. Nice to meet y'all. Dorothy Height, 1912 through 2010, was an iconic civil and women's rights activist during the 20th century. She was nicknamed the godmother of the women's movement for fighting against gender inequality and playing key roles in women's movements. Height was an accomplished activist best known for heading the National Council of Negro Women, advocating for civil and women's rights and winning accolades for her advocacy efforts. One of Height's key accomplishments was leading the National Council of Negro Women. She served as the head of the National Council of Negro Women for 40 years, from 1957 to 1997. Height used her position as the leader of the NCNW to advocate for women's rights and empower African American women. She also used her position to combat prevalent racism in the U.S. in the U.S. Dorothy Height leveraged her position as the leader of the NCNW to bring women from diverse ethnic backgrounds to discuss issues affecting African American women, including inadequate housing, jobs, and education. Overall, leading the NCNW was one of Height's most significant accomplishments. Height made significant contributions in advocating for women's rights. For instance, she advocated for women's reproductive rights, gender equality in the job sector, and increased access to education for women of all races and backgrounds. She also advocated for increased participation of women in politics. To this end, Height collaborated with other women in forming the National Women's Political Caucus. The highlighted organization encouraged and supported women to venture into elective politics. In sum, Height was instrumental in promoting women's rights in social, economic, and political spheres. Throughout her activism career, Height received several awards for civil and human rights contributions, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the Congressional Gold Medal, and honorary degrees. Bill Clinton awarded Height the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1994 for advocating for civil and women's rights. The U.S. Congress awarded Height the Congressional Gold Medal for her contributions to the civil rights movement. Height also received honorary degrees from different universities for her advocacy efforts. These accolades underscore Height's contributions to the American society. Height was an accomplished activist who led U.S. civil and women's rights movements. She was the president of the NCNW for 4 decades and a key organizer of the civil rights movement. The United States government recognized and appreciated her advocacy efforts by awarding her the Presidential Medal of Freedom, Congressional Gold Medal, and honorary degrees. Height's remarkable career in activism serves as a testament to the contribution of women of color in combating social, economic, and political inequalities in American society.
Okay. George Crumb was a Native American who was recognized for inventing the first potato chips. Crumb's birth name was George Speck. He was born George Speck in New York in 1822 to Abraham and Catherine Speck. His mother was Huron and his father was African American. His formative experience sharpened his culinary skills, leading to his position as a chef at Moon's Lake House, an esteemed restaurant serving affluent patrons. In 1853, Crumb married Elizabeth Jarrett and had 3 sons and 1 daughter. Their divorce ended in 1857. He married his second wife, Hester Esther Bennett, in 1860. George Crumb invented the potato chip. Nguyen states that the potato chip was created because a perceptive client persistently returned and ordered French fries, saying they were exclusively thick. Crumb retaliated by slicing a batch of potatoes exceedingly thin, frying them into a crisp, and generously seasoned them with salt. To his shock, Vanderbilt liked them. Eventually, Crumb and Moon's Lake House gained a renown for their distinctive Saratoga chips. Although his popular narrative has been disputed, his sister Kate claims she was the original inventor. In 1860, George Crumb advanced his culinary career by opening his own restaurant, Crumb's Place, where he supplied each table with a basket of chips. Crumb's Place served an affluent audience that disseminated information about his delicious chips. Reed states that George Crumb's chips were a luxury for the privileged until the 1920s when entrepreneur Herman Lay introduced them to a broader audience in the South. Speck popularized the potato chip initially as a cook at Moon's and subsequently in his restaurant. Despite the controversy surrounding his invention, Crumb's legacy is undeniable. As he helped establish the potato chips as a beloved snack food in America, his restaurant thrived until the rise of mass production in the 1920s when entrepreneurs like Herman Lay changed the landscape of chip distribution. Nevertheless, Crumb's work continued to influence culinary practices, and he is remembered as a standard bearer in African American history and innovation.
How can I help you today, ma'am?
I'll take mashed potatoes.
All right, will that be all for you today?
Yes.
All right. Here you go.
This is disgusting. This is bland. I can't eat
Oh my
this.
goodness.
Can I get something else, please?
Yes, let me go talk to the chef real quick. She does not like your mashed potatoes at all. Like they're bland and disgusting to her.
Well, then you can tell her to go somewhere else. This is her third time complaining about this.
Oh. I'm sorry, ma'am, but I can't help you.
Well, it's not my fault that he can't cook. Try and get him to make me something different, please.
All right. She wants something different.
Don't cut yourself, buddy. Cut away. Come on, chef. Watch that finger. Watch it. I don't want to watch this. Chef, you wash your hands. So you can get no salt.
So what are those?
They are called potato chips.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Here you go.
Oh, this is unique.
Is it good?
Yeah, this is actually pretty good. I'm shocked.
Oh, well, it's better than last time.
It really is.
Yay!
Come on, somebody give God a hand of praise in this house. All right. Real quick, before they come and before they sing, let me just do a couple of things before they do. One of the things that I found out about this church is that in time of need, we know how to come together and make it happen. Let me say this to you. We have a member who 2 weeks ago, their house burned and they lost everything. Therefore, here's my request. If you're able to assist, come here, there's a ringing here. If you're able to assist, get with, I haven't told her yet, but get with Kelsey in the office. If you want to give them a monetary, whatever it is, I'll get with Minister Booker also to see if we can do something. But she's a member of our church and they lost their house and all of their things. So if we could do that, I would certainly appreciate that. Some of y'all say, well, Pastor, the anniversary coming up next, forget the anniversary. If you give it to them and don't give it to me, just leave it back to where it was, right there. If you give it to them and don't give it to me, I don't mind. Let's assist them if we can. I would certainly appreciate that if you would do that. If you just get rid of the ringing, it'll be okay. All right, can we do that? If you have it, please, if we will do that, because it may be your time next week, maybe your time next year. And so if you're able to do that, we will certainly appreciate that. Also, I was having a conversation with one of our members just yesterday, and what came up is something that we're in the midst of doing. Minister Clark over there is the head of a ministry that we are starting in this church. I forgot to mention it when I was talking to the person yesterday. I forgot about it. It falls right in line with that. It's a social services ministry that we are starting here at the church. And we're in the process of getting that together. And I bring that up because some of our members and some of the things that's been going on is that we have members who are veterans and other things, and they don't know what they have access to. And so we want to be trying to get something together to invite all of them to come. And so maybe have speakers, whatever it is, to speak about what benefits they have now that they're retired and all the other things. So we're going to be getting together on that, insurance, some other things. And we also talked about the fact that sometimes we have loved ones, parents who are going into nursing homes, and the house, the cars is in their name, and you don't know what to do. There are things that you can do with that. And so knowledge is power. And so we don't want you to just shout here. We want you to get some knowledge also. And so with that being said, we're going to be working on that and getting back to you about that, when, the place, all those things. And maybe you have something that we might need to discuss that we don't know about. All you got to do is give that to Kelsey. And if we can help you with it, give it to Kelsey. Guess what we'll do? We'll try to put something together to give you, because if you need the information, trust me, somebody else do too. And so we'll try to get that together for you. So if you give that to her, we would appreciate that. Okay? Can we do that? All right. These young people are going to come and then they're going to sing for us one more time. And then we're going to come back to you and ask you, can I take you out tonight? That's what we're going to talk about today. Can I take you out tonight? Come on, we ready to go.
Hallelujah. One more time, give God a hand clap of praise. Listen, Lord, I don't want to love nobody but you. I don't know about you, but I want to love God. Come on, put your hands together for Jesus.
Can it be that you are the most unlovable part of me? How could you see? Your life was the only gift I'll ever need to be free. It's amazing with you. I win even if I lose. Everything's working for my good for always. He saved the day. He will come through. He won't doubt, that's not what's supposed hero too. No greater love makes my heart beat. All I wanna do is make you proud of me. I don't wanna love nobody but you. I don't wanna love nobody but you. I don't wanna love nobody but you. How can it be? Every one of my secrets that you keep, you cover me, a mystery. Your patience with me, God will never leave. You'll never leave. Nothing to be like you. No matter what I go through, everything's working for my good for always. You save the day, we will come through. We won't doubt that's not what superheroes do. Your greater love makes my heart beat. All I wanna do is make you proud of me. I don't wanna love nobody but you. 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 Loving you will be the best of me. Will be the best of me. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. For you less of me. I don't wanna love nobody but you. 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 You save the day, he will come through. He won't doubt that's not what superheroes do. No greater love makes my heart beat. All I wanna do is make you proud of me. Save the day, he will come through. He won't doubt that's not what superheroes do. No greater love makes my heart beat. All I wanna do is make you proud of me. I don't wanna love nobody but you. 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 I don't wanna love nobody. I don't wanna love nobody but you. 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 I don't wanna love nobody but you.
For the still got a little ring. For the sake of time. Amen. For the sake of time, I want to go right into our word for the day. Still got a little ring in here. As we continue our series, Ready for Love, in this month of February, we just got through Valentine's Day. I hope y'all, fellas, I hope y'all made it okay. I hear you, Doc. I hear you. There is a word from the Lord on today. Just one verse, the Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 7. I'm just going to read one verse, but we'll deal with a little more than that. Watch what he says, what she says. Oh, let me warn you, sisters in Jerusalem, by the gazelles, yes, by all the wild deer. Watch this. Don't excite love. Don't you stir it up until the time is ripe and you are ready. Amen. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, can I take you out tonight? That's what I want to talk about. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. The grass withers, flower thereof fade. Don't go too far. Don't you disappear. Flower fadeth away. But the word of our God shall stand forever. There is no football game today. Praise the Lord. This book, the Song of Solomon, is a love story. As a matter of fact, I don't know how many of y'all have read this book, but it is an interesting book to read. This Shulamite woman, she even starts it off by saying, in the book, she says, I'm going to let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth. She says, for your love is better than wine. Good God. She says, y'all need to read this book, I'm telling y'all. She says, you look at me, I'm dark, but I sure am lovely. I want to look at this for a moment if I can. It's going to be good in some places. It'll be a little rough ride in others, but we'll make it to the end. I believe all of us need to know how to be in healthy and happy relationships. And I believe the way that is for all of us to know the truth. And I'm going to give you the truth in the beginning of the sermon. And that is that all of us, in spite of who we are, when we enter into relationships, we all bring our own share of baggage. And it's baggage that we bring to the relationships that usually wears us down and wears us out. I guess y'all gonna listen to me today. I wonder how many of us can be honest enough to admit that even as we share this moment, you have emotional, relational, and even spiritual baggage that you lug around from time to time. We all have baggage, and baggage can wear you out and can wear you down. I was listening. Believe it or not, I listen to other people, other preachers. I do. I love listening to other preachers. I was listening to a preacher the other day, and the pastor talked about a book entitled Outdated. And the author of the book, believe it or not, is the lead pastor at the Harris Creek Baptist Church right there outside of Waco in McGregor, Texas. Jonathan Pocaluda. Pocaluda tells the story about his honeymoon. He and his wife, they were young, they had just gotten married, and he and his wife, they were headed on a 7-day trip to Mexico, and they packed 6 suitcases. Now, how you do that, I don't know. And they arrived at the airport, and they are headed up the escalator with Jonathan, and he grabbed 5 of the 6 suitcases. He was clearly a new husband, because a few years later, I guarantee you, he wouldn't pick up no more than 3. But he grabbed 5 of the 6 suitcases, and as they got to the top, my brothers and sisters, of the escalator, one of the suitcases got stuck. The escalator was still moving, but the suitcase was not. And it quickly toppled him over. He knocked his wife over, and bam, they tumbled to the bottom of the escalator, landed at the bottom with the luggage on top of them. This is how their marriage began. Pocaluda wrote in his book, what I didn't realize at the time, but what soon realized was it was my fault that the experience was a preview of what was going to happen in my marriage. Because as he would later note, he had carried a lot of baggage into the marriage with him. It was baggage that had accumulated over the years, and you don't have to admit it, but this is true for all of us, whether we are single, separated, married, divorced, widowed, or whether we have children, empty nesters, we're grandparents. All of us have baggage that we carry along with us. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, what do you think? Is it a matching set? Because all of us have baggage, and I want today to encourage you to admit it, own it, and unpack it so that it does not cause you to tumble down the escalator of unhappiness in your life. Pocaluda wrote that knowing what I know now, he said, I wish I had dated differently. I can see right now this is going to be too deep for some of y'all, but stay with me. He said, I could have avoided creating a lot of unnecessary baggage, because who you date and how you date is either going to multiply or reduce the amount of baggage that you drag into the relationship with you. Therefore, my friends, whether you are single or you're trying to navigate this season, or grandparent trying to advise your grandkids, this message is for you. And I want to help you where you are, who you are, and where you are trying to go in your relationship. So here is the relevant question for the message, and we'll try to answer this question. How do you date well? Because in an age of dating apps, where you swiping your way through Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, Match.com, eHarmony, trying to find the perfect person in the midst of situations and hookup in this situational and hookup culture. Where are you going to be tonight? In a time when There are endless strings of movies and television series, even reality shows have people competing to marry somebody who is eligible. Believe it or not, I love watching Married at First Sight. Good God Almighty. I like Married at First Sight. My wife likes The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Praise the Lord. Somebody trying to hook up with somebody who's eligible, and everybody is looking for a soulmate, S-O-U-L, and almost nobody's looking and having interest in a soulmate, S-O-L-E. How do you date well? And in the text we have before us, we have tagged to teach today, we are given some profound instructions, insights, instructions and insights on how to center ourselves around this reality that we are facing. All relationships are seasonal. Everybody just say seasonal. And every season is different. And every season has a purpose. And those of you who are single know that you will have a season. Here's number one, a preparation. There's a season of preparation. God loves us even enough to walk us through this season of preparation. And I'm in the text, Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 11. Watch this Shulamite woman. She says, oh, look, the winter is over. The winter is past. And then she says, the rain is over. Rain is gone. Then she said, the flowers have appeared on the earth. The time of singing of the birds have come, and the cooling of doves are heard in our land. He already answered the question. Stop preaching my sermon. Because my next question was, based on what you just heard, what season is she in now? Winter is gone now. They're in the springtime. She recognized that they had had a season of winter. And here's my question. What is winter? Winter, it's a season between your past expectations and your future blessings. It's a season of preparation where the roots grow in deep and the birds fly south and the branches are bare, animals are hibernating, and all of nature cooperates. Listen, child of God, closely, because some of you wish right now you were in relational spring. You wish right now that you had that perfect someone, although he does not exist. But I need to tell you, my brothers and sisters, God may have you in the winter where you're actually being prepared for your next spring. You don't know when to shout. Some of you would love to be in the relationship right now, but God says, not now, because I need to heal you from the hurts of your past. Maybe you had a marriage that went horribly wrong. Maybe you were with someone who betrayed you, hurt you, deceived you, walked all over your heart and your life. And you are now just considering the possibility that you might forgive them someday. You're just beginning, my brothers and sisters, to heal your soul. You're just getting to the place where you are almost able to trust again, and you want to jump into religion. You ain't ready. Because you're in the winter. Everybody say winter. God is doing a work in you to prepare you for the next season of your life. And here's some good advice for you. Listen. Don't neglect God's work during the winter. Don't neglect God's work during the winter. It could be spiritually speaking that your spiritual roots need to go deeper and deeper before they are strong enough to sustain the weight of an authentic, lasting relationship. So in the winter, God allows your roots to go deeper, getting you ready for the spring. It could be that you need to take a break for a while to heal your own heart. You need to take a break for unloading or reorganizing some of your own personal baggage. Listen to me, because when our hearts and our perspectives are distorted by pain, confusion, and bad habits, we tend to make really bad decisions. And one of the most common bad decisions made by those with this type of baggage is what I call serial dating. That's when you date people who have the same issue at you, the same dysfunction as you. They just put a different name and a different face to it. That's how people end up hurtling through a destructive, depressing, downward cycle of frustration. Somebody better grab this, because to do it is like continuing to move the same bad engine from one car to another car, thinking that a different model. And you think I'm talking about a car. A different color, a different body style will somehow make that bad engine really good. This relational blindness, and this is relational blindness, and it's caused by your attraction grid, which doesn't function correctly when the pain from our personal baggage skews our view of people both positively and negatively. Relational winter gives you an opportunity, my brothers and sisters, to take a break and adjust your attraction grid, because some of us are attracted to the wrong kind of folk. And you keep pulling in the same thing, just have a different name. So that you can make the necessary internal changes and really begin to grow as a person. Now, when we are no longer blinded by pain, we can start making really good relational decisions. And here is an insight for you that will be critical, because watch this. The prerequisite to being happy with someone else is to first be happy with yourself. You can't stand and live with you and go try to live with somebody else. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, IKTR. In case you don't know what that means I know that's right. Because if you don't get singleness right, you won't get relationships right either. Because get this, all of your relationships except one will end up leaving you single. That means first you have to learn how. Somebody say learn. You have to learn how to begin and end relationships. Secondly, you have to have a scriptural perspective on your season of singleness. Because singleness is not rejection. Singleness is not inadequacy. Singleness is not incompleteness. Jesus was single. Paul was single. Singleness was not a place to hide in order to avoid the risk of rejection or failure due to past hurts. And even if you are not in a relationship, if you are not interested in a relationship, you still need to actively build a strong network of family, friends, and associates, because all of us need a relational network, because God made us to be in relationship. Singleness is a season that everybody will go through more than once. Don't believe me? When you came here, you were single. And no matter how long you're in a relationship, the day will come when, for one reason or another, you will be single again. Everybody will walk through a season of singleness. Don't neglect God's work in your life in your winter. Winter is a time to prepare. And for some of you, that means some very practical applications. This is the season for you to, watch this. Y'all ready? This ain't gonna be that spiritual. This is gonna be physical. Y'all ready? Watch this. Winter is the season for you to learn how to pay your own bills. Winter is a season for you to develop what things you like and dislike. This is the season to work on your character. This is the season to develop discipline. Pay your car note every month on time. This is a season for you to learn how to save, learn how to invest, learn how to show up to work on. This is a season where you should master basic responsibilities. Let me say it differently since y'all didn't get it like that. Let me say it differently since y'all didn't get it. This is a season for you to learn to work on you. During winter, the goal is to pursue you, to find you, to discover you. And watch this. Once you pursue you, you find you, and you discover you, the task then is to begin to develop you. Winter is not so bad. It's not a bad thing because you can't have spring without winter. Winter is a season of preparation. So can I give you a sacred suggestion? Embrace the season you are in because you are in this season for a reason. I need you to say that with me. Come on, somebody say it with me. I'm in this season for a reason. If you only get one thing out of this season of singleness, I want you to get this. God is the only one who should be permitted to define you. I'm trying to help somebody. The people you date, the people who reject you, don't want you, don't call you, ain't into you, even the peer person who you may eventually marry should not have their permission to identify who you are. God also defines you, so embrace and pursue you. So the first season is a season of preparation in this relationship. So the second season is a season of infatuation. You infatuated. It's like, you see somebody sees you. You meet somebody and you discover that there is chemistry between you. I mean, when you see them, the stars line up. You see fireworks. They appear to be perfect. They look like they just stepped out of one of those dreams you have. All the love songs in your playlist finally start to make sense. Every card on the rack at CVS and Walgreens is screaming your name. You look up in the air and you see Cupid in the clouds with hearts and rainbows everywhere. And you go feel like the old 70s group, the Spinners. Cupid, draw back your bow. You just, and let your arrow flow straight to my lover's heart. Cupid got his arrow pulled back, just ready to shoot you in the heart. You just somebody say infatuated. I mean, you so infatuated, You know, you change your Facebook status from last week complicated. You know this. You infatuated. It's the same. It's the same chemical feeling you get when you eat a lot of great chocolate. You know, it is sweet potato pie eaten with your shoes off. You know, this is what's happening in verse 8 through verse 10 in our text. It's all about infatuation. You got to read the Song of Solomon, in chapter 2, verse 8. This sister says about the man, she says, look, listen, it's my love. Look here. Here he comes, skipping across the mountain, bounding and leaping over the hills. She is clearly infatuated. She is clearly intoxicated by him. This is the feeling we sing about. You remember before you got saved, there's a spark of magic. Candyland appears each time you smile. That's the 70s. I like the way you comb your hair. I like the stylish clothes you wear. It's just the little things you do that show how much you really had. That's the 80s. I just, I said, my, sure look good to me. That's the 90s. Excuse me, miss. It's just, what's your name? Where did you come from? And can I come? And possibly, can I take you out tonight? To the movie, to the park. I know you don't know nothing about that, baby. It's all right. And I'll have you home before it's dark. So let me, it's the title of my message. That's Luther, and he's forever. What's this? This is what we sing about, this feeling of infatuation. In the text, she is infatuated. And here he comes, bounding and bouncing over the hills. Verse 9, she says, look at my beloved. Look at him. He's like a gazelle. He's a young stag. Y'all don't know, he's a stud. That's what she is saying. He's fine. She said, he's not glad, Glad, good looking at a distance. She said, he's fine, F-I-N-E, he's fine. Look, she says, there he stands behind the wall, gazing through the windows. Look at him peering through the lattice. What is he doing? He's playing peekaboo. And she liked it. She thought he was adorable. Verse 10, she says, finally, my beloved, he's arrived. Watch this. And she said, and when he got here, he spoke to me and his words just melted my heart and said to me, darling, arise, my beautiful one. Come, go away with me. In other words, we are going out tonight. They're infatuated with each other. There is a season of infatuation where everything seems perfect. And you do know that researchers say that the emotional intoxication of infatuation typically lasts between 1 day and 6 months. Often in a season of infatuation, people think it just can't get no better than this. That's until up becomes down, north becomes south, and you're ready to pack up your toys and your toothbrush and go home. Hear me, my friends, when you're in a season of infatuation, you may say to yourself, it can't get no better than this, but you're wrong. It can get incredibly better than that. But first of all, you got to get real. You ain't ready for this. Because during a season of infatuation, what you feel is real, but it's incomplete. Y'all stop laughing. Why y'all stop laughing? Somebody say incomplete. You know, it's perfume, it's cologne, it's emotion, it lacks the depth of commitment necessary for a lasting lifetime love affair. God has designed reality and relationships such that attraction should lead to attachment. Attraction, everybody say attraction should lead to attachment. Because watch this, attachment is different than attraction. Because attachment is for grown folks. You don't hear me yet. Because attachment is where you realize we can't live on love. We can't be together every waking moment because in order for us to eat, in order for us to have somewhere to stay, somebody in this arrangement got to have a job. Attachment is where you move beyond being served and you learn how to serve each other. When you begin to learn how to celebrate the real good times and learn to weather the really bad times without falling apart and without turning on each other. Attachment is where you learn how to forgive, how to hold on to God and hold on to each other, how to work through pain and despite disappointment and frustration. It's where you develop a depth of commitment and personal responsibility with each other that can stand the test of time. That manages through thick and thin and survives no matter how the seasons change. Because you do know seasons do have a way of changing. Because there's a season of preparation. Y'all got that? There's a season of infatuation. And you have to understand the difference. How do you pursue someone during a season of infatuation? And I know this is going to be counterintuitive, but this is what you got to do. Limit your time, limit your talk, and limit your touch. You're going to want to spend every waking moment together. Don't neglect your family, your friends. Do not quit your job. Don't abandon every other relationship you have to pursue that one person. Limit your time. Limit your talk. It's inappropriate on the second date to tell them I love you. You don't even know me yet. You're putting too much pressure on a relationship that has no foundation. I don't need to know that. TMI, too much information. I don't need to know all your personal stuff on the second date. And this is the first time we've met. Don't know all that telling me all your business. Limit your talk, limit your time, limit your touch, because the moment you start rubbing, the moment you start patting, squeezing, pulling and kissing, the momentum of the relationship shifts, and typically not in a long-term direction. Y'all don't like me, but I'm gonna preach it anyway. Because there are at least 5 levels of dating, and each one has its own rules and has its own boundaries. Are y'all ready for this? Level 1 is where you're dating for something to do. Somebody say something to do. Yeah, at this level, please understand, persons, they date not because they're interested in you, they just need something to do. Level 2 is when you're dating because it's you. Now notice this is not an exclusive relationship, but it does require one of both people to acknowledge a true interest or a real attraction to each other. However, even though you're attracted, you're not kissing, you're not hugging, you're not rubbing, you're not patting. Instead, you are focusing on communicating, clearly, honestly understanding who the other person is. Where are you and how do you feel at this point in the relationship? That's level 2, dating because it's you. Level 3 is dating not because of something to do, not because it's you, but dating with a future in view. This is where a casual relationship becomes exclusive. And you focus on clarifying life goals and doing the research necessary to determine if you are truly compatible or do you even like each other that much. Here you begin to measure maturity. And maturity is important, so hear me well. There are at least 12 levels of maturity. There is spiritual, personal, economic, physical, sexual, moral, ethical, worldview, relational, social, verbal, and character. That's, you got to understand, brothers and sisters. Where are you in maturity? And you begin to evaluate at what level of maturity is this person. Level 4 is where you're dating and I'm engaged to you. On this level, the focus is on clarifying roles and expectations, family boundaries, trying to get some sound spiritual premarital counseling and beginning to plan a life together. And level 5 is dating is where you're dating after you say, I do. What's this? Just because you did does not mean you still do. Did you hear what I just said? Because after marriage, guess what? And men, let me talk to the brothers for a moment. Me too. Dating is critical to keep your romance alive, to maintain open communication, and to continue to mature the relationship so that it is prepared for children, for crisis, and inevitable complexities and circumstances that everybody goes through. Each dating level, watch this, represents a level of commitment that should be accompanied by appropriate physical and emotional boundaries. I am too deep for y'all today. Let me break that down this way. When you're dating at level 1, that means, remember, you're dating for something to do. Your physical boundaries should be, you're just going out to dinner, you might hold hands, that kind of stuff. That's it. When you're dating at level 2, it's because of you. Your physical boundaries should be holding hands, maybe putting your arms on somebody's shoulders. That's it. When you're dating at level 3, I'm not dating because it's you. I'm not dating because it's something to do. I'm dating with a future in view. Your boundaries should be, face to face, hand to head, and head to body. When you're dating at that level 4, you're dating and you're engaged. Your physical boundaries should not progress any further than that was level 3, because it's so easy to do. Where is Roberta Flack when you need her? When she starts talking about, I feel like making love to you. Oh, I'm sorry. No, you don't. Level 5, when his eyes married now. You're married in a covenant relationship. That's meant to last a lifetime with each other. Your physical boundaries are best described by Teddy Pendergrass. Turn off the lights. But the point I'm promoting today is that what we say and what we do must match what we've been allowing ourselves to think and to feel. So here's the question, preacher, so you can get out of here. How do I get there? Y'all, that's such good questions. You need what's called a truth triangle. Everybody say truth triangle. Made up of feelings, thoughts, and behaviors. All 3 should be in alignment with each other. The truth, my feelings, my thoughts, my behaviors. One side of the triangle is thinking, one side of the triangle is feeling, and one side of the triangle is behaving. And all of them need to be in line with one another. I wish I had time to stay right there, but I don't. There's a season of preparation, and in it, you should pursue you. There's a season of infatuation, and through it, you should pursue the truth. But in order to stay together, you have to move from infatuation to a season of formation. And that's where I leave y'all. Everybody say formation. Because in this season of formation, you pursue intimacy. Now, here's the problem. Most people think that intimacy is romance. Intimacy is sex. It's not. Intimacy is not flowers. It's not chocolate. It's not champagne. It's not popping bottles. It's not romantic candlelight dinners. Intimacy is transparency. Y'all got that? Intimacy is no secrets. Break it down, preacher. Intimacy means, y'all heard me say it before, intimacy. Intimacy is when you see me, you get to know me. And in spite of what you see in me, in spite of what you know about me, you still choose me. It is opening your heart, your dreams, your fears, and your insecurities, your anxieties, and letting down your barriers. It's removing walls so that you can be transparent with the other person. Let me try it this way. Maybe you will get it. When you look past what you can see, what do you see? I pause so y'all, some of y'all gonna get at the red light. Because when you look past what you see, intimacy means what do you see? Now, romance is a byproduct of intimacy because when you are truly intimate, you will become romantic. But romance comes and romance goes. But intimacy will hold you together in a relationship. Watch this, watch this. And in fact, this is what we see him asking of her in verse 14. Look at verse 14. If you read it in the Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 14, he says, my dove, there you are. Why are you hiding in the cliffs of the rocks? I see your hiding place. I see you. On your mountainside hideaway, show me your face. He said, speak to me and let me hear your voice. He lures her out of hiding. Notice his invitation. He says, come out wherever you are. Let me talk to you. He says, let me hear your dreams. I want to look you in the eye. And what's being described here is developing intimacy. Think about this. Why is it that when you're dating, you feel so close to the other person? It's simply because y'all talk all the time. I can't tell you how many times somebody has come to me and says, Pastor, when we were dating, we talked all the time. Now we don't talk at all. Men, listen. Because men have a fundamental flaw, it's the male ego, because we believe that love consists of conquering rather than pursuing. Because often men, we think once we have won her, we got her. But that's not the model that Christ did, because Christ continuously pursues us. He relentlessly pursues us. Did you hear what I said? We often think that God only pursues those who do not know him. But God pursues us even though we are blood bought and we are saved. He is still pursuing a relationship with us. He never stops pursuing us. Somebody say, pursue intimacy. Some of you can remember, when you were first dating, you remember being on the phone, talking at 2 o'clock in the morning, and finally one of you would say, baby, it's late, so we got to go. And the other would say, but I don't want to go. And then they'll chime in and say, me neither. Then one of you will say, okay, you hang up first. And the other will say, no, you go first. And then y'all talk about, okay, we'll count to three and hang up together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You still there? I knew you would be. See, you're talking. You're talking. You learn to talk. Why? Because you're getting to know each other and growing in intimacy. You're learning each other. And the problem arises later because guys like headlines and girls like details. Guys want facts, but girls want particulars. But I cannot overstate how important it is, my brothers and sisters, for us to learn about each other, keep pursuing each other. Why? Because you have to know one another. Pursue intimacy. Don't ever do what many people do. Do not confuse. Y'all ready for this? This is going to be deep. Do not confuse being close by with being close to. Some of y'all think we live in the same house. We eat the same food. We sleep in the same bed. We use the same toothpaste. Use the same toilet. Although I want my paper going over, you want yours going under. But being close by is not the same thing as being close to. You have to be intent. I got to get out here. I done held y'all long enough. Watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. Secondly, you got to protect your purity. That's physical, sexual, mental, emotional. Because watch this. Verse 15 alludes to it in the Song of Solomon, chapter 2. She says to him, baby, catch for me and to protect me from the little foxes that ruin the vineyard. What's the vineyard? The vineyard is the metaphor for the life that they had created together. She says, because let's catch the little foxes that can ruin the vineyard. Because what do you mean? Because the little foxes eat the blooms. And when the foxes eat the blooms, what happens is when they eat the blooms, they would eat the blossoms off the plants. And if the blossoms were gone, then there would be no buds. If there are no buds, then there would be no fruit. And I want you to listen. She says, in this relationship, she says, I need you to get rid of all those little foxes because they're destroying everything we are putting together. But wait a minute, Pastor. Here's where I'm leaving y'all. Pastor, listen, can I just date? Skip all of this? Can I just find me somebody, meet somebody in church? Can I just, if I meet them in church, can I just skip all of this? Can I caution you? Not at all. And can I tell you why? Because the church is a hospital and people respond to medication differently. Preach, Moye. I'm doing the best I can. Watch this. You better take my word for it and form it right. It doesn't matter what happened in your past. I'm leaving y'all. You can choose now to honor God. It's never too late to improve, never too late to proceed, never too late to change. Whatever your history is, God can change your destiny if you trust in God. Let me give you this. 4 quick pieces of advice before I say amen. First of all, if you're dating, set your standards up front. When you meet somebody, tell them up front. Don't wait till you're in no hotel room or apartment. Wait. Tell them up front. Secondly, watch this. Keep 4 feet on the floor. I used to be slow too. Watch this. Because if you got 4 feet on the floor and you're watching Netflix, you ain't in no danger. It's the moment that you start to chill with your Netflix and her 2 feet go over your legs. That's when things get dicey. You keep 4 feet on the floor. Number 3, keep everything buttoned, zipped, latched, twisted, and tied. Because it's amazing how much easier it is to control yourself emotionally, mentally, and sexually with all your clothes on. Fourthly, build fences and don't climb over them. Why? Because these actions convey, watch this, value. You value yourself. You value the other person. By these actions, I declare to the other person that you are so valuable to me that although I want you, I'm willing to wait for you, and I will commit to you and will keep you. It's ultimately about value. I got to go. I've held y'all long enough. The kids did their thing. I've held y'all long enough. I got to go. But watch this. Here's where I leave you. I leave you with a story that I heard about this father who had two daughters. One of them was just ordinary, but the other one was drop dead gorgeous. We're talking about Lionel Rich and the Commodores. She's mighty, mighty. Yeah. She's a brick house, you know. A man in the village contacted this father saying, "Sir, I would like to marry one of your daughters." And in ancient times, they would offer to marry. It was accompanied by what was called a dowry. And the man declared, "If you let me marry one of your daughters, I will offer you a dowry in the amount of 10 cows in exchange for one of your daughter's hand in marriage." Old language, but you get the meaning. And at that time, 10 cows was a lot in terms of meat, milk, and you can harvest and market in the marketplace and create a stream of income. So the father consented, and he was sure that the man was going to come and he was going to pick his daughter that was drop dead gorgeous. But the man surprised him. The man arrived. He picked a little ordinary girl. The daddy was shocked. The mama was shocked. The girl was shocked. Everybody was shocked because they knew he was going to pick her. But several months later, after picking her and marrying her, several months later, the father goes to visit his daughter and her new husband. And when he arrived, his daughter came out, and he was shocked again because she was incredibly beautiful. In fact, she was as beautiful, if not more beautiful, than the other sister. She had a different walk about her. She had a different posture. She had a different stance. She had a different talk. She had on different clothes. She styled her hair in a different way. And the father, almost stuttering, almost asked, "Honey, what happened to you? You're absolutely gorgeous." And his ordinary daughter, this is how we end. I ain't gonna holler at y'all all day. Y'all better come on. His ordinary daughter, who had now become gorgeous, smiled at her daddy and she said, "Daddy, when I saw somebody was willing to offer 10 cows for me, I made a decision that from here on out, I'm not going to be a 1 cow kind of girl." Y'all missed it. Y'all, I can go to my seat. Y'all missed it. When I saw what he was willing to give in exchange for me, I knew then that he truly valued me. Hear me, my friends. It's all about value. And the good news for you today is, the good news I have for you, all of you today, is that even if you don't have anybody in your life right now who is willing to give 10 cows for you, you got somebody in your life who laid down his life for you. And his name is Jesus Christ. The songwriter said, on a hill far away stood an old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and shame. But I love that old cross. For the dearest and best for a world of lost sinners was claimed. They lifted him high. Y'all know I want to holler, don't you? But I said, I'm going to stay here. And they stretched him wide. He hung his head. For me, he died. I told him Wednesday night, he got blood in the game. But that's not how the story ends. 3 days later, he rose again. He did it for you. And he did it for me. To let us know just how valuable you are to God. And here's the news. He'll change your hair. He'll change your posture. He'll change your character. He'll change your attitude. He'll change your mind. He'll change the kind of talk that you talk and the kind of walk that you walk. Because he values you. You will want to look like, act like, talk like, and be sure to live like the value that God has placed on your life. Don't bring yourself down to somebody else's level to match them. They got to come up to you. And when you're going to be getting with somebody, you date somebody who values, because you got to look into me to see who I really am. Because outside of what you see on the physical, do you like what's inside of me? So the question is, can I take you out tonight? I don't know. Are you worthy of me? And some of our ladies need to understand their value. Understand how valuable you are. I told you in the first sermon, you are a gift. The Bible even says, a man who findeth a wife, he finds a good thing. So why are you lowering your standards for somebody else? Come on, point to yourself and say, I remember who I am. You come on, Dick, I'm done. Everybody, y'all can stand on your feet. I'm through. So with all of that being said, there may be somebody here today you can come right now. I'm valuable. If you want to come on. Come on, learn your value. We're waiting on you. We're waiting on you. We're waiting on you to come. Come on. Somebody else, come on. That's We're waiting on you. We're waiting on you. Come on, from wherever you are, you can come. You can come. Come on. We'd love to meet you right here. Come on. Come on. Yeah. What about it? What did he do?
Jesus went to Calvary, save a wretch like you and me. That's love. That's love. Jesus went to Calvary, save a wretch like you and me. That's love. They hung him high, stretched him wide, hung his head. For me he died. That's love. That's love. That's love. They hung him high. They hung him high. They stretched him wide. They hung his head. For me he died. That's love. That's love. That's not how. But that's not how the story ends. 3 days later, he rose again. That's love. That's love. Say that's not how. But that's not how the story ends. 3 days later, he rose again. That's love. He rose with all power in his hand. That's love. Say it again. That's not how. That's not how the story ends. 3 days later, he rose again.
You can be seated. You can be seated.
Jesus went to Calvary to save a wretch like you and me. That's love.
All right.
That's love.
All right. God bless you today. God bless you. Let me say this to you, and we're going to get ready to go. Because I know some of you are into technology, and I believe that the family that I'm talking about who lost their house, I believe that they do have Cash App or something like that. And what I'll do is, if they do, I'm going to give that information. We're going to have them to get information to Kelsey. And if you want to do it through technology to assist them, because at this point they're having to pay for everything that they're doing as they go through right now. And so if you want to assist them with that, we'll give their information to Kelsey in the office. So if you want to cash app them or whatever they have, I don't know what they have, you can do that to help them out, okay? And we'll be finding out what else they need, and we might give a list of that to Kelsey. And if you make it help with that kind of way also, we'll do that also. All right. We are. Is there any first-time guest here today? Anybody here for the first time? You're at the park for the first time. You haven't been here before. You are visiting us for the first time. God bless you. We thank you so much for being with us on today. We appreciate you and we appreciate your presence. We're going to ask you if you would, the young lady who's headed out now, would you follow her? Would you follow her? If you're here for the first time, would you follow her? Grab your things and follow her. All right. Come on, y'all, give him a hand. All right. So we're going to get ready to be dismissed on today. Everybody's standing on your feet. Father God, we thank you again for all your many blessings, and we thank you for another opportunity, and we thank you for another expression of your love. God, I'm praying now that you would bless us as we prepare now to dismiss from this particular place, but never from your presence. Be with us, God. Go with us and keep us in your care. And God, we will love you and we will cherish you forevermore. In Jesus' name. Every heart said, thank God. Amen. God bless you. You excused on the day.